Hello and welcome to my channel Interior Reflections. My name is Gia Lulich, author of Joyful Journey. In this video, I would like to talk about the second part of the self-publishing journey, which is promoting your book, advertising, getting it out there into the hands of readers, planning your launch party, and everything in between. As I mentioned in the first video, this process of self-publishing has been a real delight for me. It's something that came together very organically. Things that I didn't even seek out somehow found me. And if you want to know more about how my journey of self-publishing relates to my principles in the book and manifestation and law of attraction, I'm going to go more into the specifics right at the end of this video. So I'm going to pick up where we left off in the last video, which is uploading your PDF files onto KDP Publishing or whatever platform you choose to use. I just want to touch on some key points there. First off, when you are assigning someone to create the interior design of your book, also known as formatting, you will need to make sure that they're able to do the physical copy for you and also the Kindle copy, because those two have different measurement specifications and you want to make sure that they are correct. I outsourced the interior design of my book to a lovely lady called Henrietta, who I found on Upwork. She had rave reviews. She actually charged me a single price to design the interior for both my physical copy of the book and also the Kindle copy. So that's something to think about that I didn't mention in the first video. Secondly, I want to reiterate the fact that if you do plan to sell your book in a bookshop, you will need an ISBN number, which is an International Standard Book number. I will leave a link in the section below. Now it is time to think about when you are going to actually click the publish on KDP Publishing. When you click the publish button, it means that your book is now live for sale. But what I would recommend you do halfway through the publishing process, so the 5 steps that I talk about in my first video, you start to promote your book and build a launch team. The purpose of having a launch team is to get as many people as you possibly can to write reviews on the day and the week that your book is set to publish. Basically what this does is it stimulates the Amazon algorithm to circulate your book to people who are interested in the same theme, and also it builds credibility for you as a first-time author. The first step I took to building a launch team was that I contacted everybody I knew, people who I've met throughout my life, who I've been friends with, and I basically contacted each person individually and sent them a personalized email letting them know that my book is going to be launched on a certain date and whether they are able to read some of the PDF that I'm going to send them and write a review on that date. Needless to say, this is a pretty time-consuming task, so what I would suggest you do is divide it up. So maybe contact 3 people a day over the course of 3 months while you are doing the steps to publish your book. Once you have enough people agreeing to do a review, what I did was I wrote out an email followed by a calendar invite so that people knew what day they had to write the review and they actually got a reminder on that day. In this email, I also included the PDF again. You want to provide as much information as possible and for it to be as accessible as possible so that people don't have to fumble through their emails to try and find things. The other thing to note as well, which I learned through this process, is that not everybody has access to Amazon, so I would include in that email an option for Goodreads as well. This will require you to upload your book to Goodreads and connect it to your account in Amazon. In the meantime, you can continue to spread the word about your book. One of the things that I did was go to other authors' book launch parties. You get to get ideas about how other authors are doing their book launch, which you can take notes for when you start to plan your own. The other advantage to attending these book launches is that you actually get to network with people and talk about your book. Naturally, a lot of the people at these book launches might be agents or publishers or in the industry themselves. Often I met other authors as well, and it's really incredible how happy everybody is to support you with your work. And so it's another way to actually build momentum, to spread the word about your book, and if you possibly can, perhaps take people's contacts and also ask if they would like to review your book in time for the launch as well. I also created a workshop which applied the principles from my book. I used an app called Locals, which allows you to advertise different experiences. You can also use platforms like Meetup, and it gives you a chance to talk about your book, to get people interested in the themes, and just to get people interested in what you have to say. Get your family and friends to talk about your book to their community. My family lives in Australia, and my mum has been really instrumental in spreading the word. Her friends were really excited about it, and they have all bought the book. It really helps when you don't have any prior credibility as an author to really get everybody on board. The other tip that I would give is to post your journey on social media. You can get really creative with this. You can talk about your journey of publishing the book. You can put quotes from your book. It doesn't really matter how many followers you have. As long as you have a few people following you, that's still something. You can even engage your audience by asking them about your book cover design perhaps, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it would be ideal for you to start this promotion process while you are actually self-publishing the book, so that you can involve your audience on the journey with you. You can ask for their input so that when your book is actually published, people have some insight on what the themes are going to be and what they can expect to read from the book. Let's cut to the publishing of your book date, which is essentially you logging into KDP Publishing and changing the setting to publish your book. Hopefully you've had plenty of people agree to write a review for you, and now you have some credibility as an author. It's also great to have people buy your book. So if you can get your family and friends to purchase your book, that's even better. That will kick off the Amazon algorithm. The reviews that people did for me mainly came in the first week or 10 days. It takes Amazon a little while to actually approve the reviews, so don't be alarmed if after the first day you don't get any, because Amazon is sifting through them before they approve the publishing of those. In my personal experience, I used reviews for my book on Amazon and Goodreads as credibility to actually approach bookshops and see if they wanted to stock my book. Because my book was written in Notting Hill, and the bookshop is actually one of my favorites in London because it inspires the movie, which I absolutely love. It was an actual dream come true to have my launch party there. So the way that it came about was I explained that I was a local author, and I showed the staff my Amazon and Goodreads reviews. It was really easy. They said yes, we put a date in the diary, we agreed on the proceeds for sale, and after this came planning process for the launch party. The process involved in the planning was I advertised the event on Eventbrite, designing a poster which was put in the bookshop. I also went around the local community, the library.
I also asked my favourite local independent wine shop, Little France, if they could provide the wine for my event as a gesture of goodwill to sponsor local talent, and they said yes. I posted this reel on Instagram to keep my audience informed about my journey.
I couldn't believe how well the launch party went. I had really bad imposter syndrome being a new author, but the whole thing was an actual delight. All my close friends were there to help me, but also people I didn't know, and it was an opportunity again for me to connect to my readers and to build rapport with the Notting Hill bookshop who now stock my book. So now that I had my book selling at the Notting Hill bookshop, I also approached another one of my favorite bookshops in Soho called Watkins Books, and I pitched the book to them, explaining that it was selling at the Notting Hill bookshop, that I was a local author and that I could sign the books, and they bought a few books off me, which very soon sold out. Now I'm in the process of actually approaching more independent bookstores to check if they would like to stock my book. At this point, it's really important to me to get the book in the hands of readers and to build that credibility for myself as an author. And so this is going to be an ongoing process. It is important to note that even though your book is now published and you've done all of these steps, it's still important to be creative and to follow up on promoting your book and getting it out there. So I hope all that made sense for you guys. If you like this video, if you found it useful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are in the middle of this process, do let me know. I'd love to know how your journey is going. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comment section below and I'll answer them best as I can. There are so many different ways to go about this process. I encourage you to think outside the box, to watch many other videos on the topic as well and see what resonates for you. As I mentioned in the first video, this was my main takeaway from the publishing process. It kind of confirmed to me that the principles in my book about how if you set an intention out there, if you make a goal for yourself and you do the work that you can do, that the universe will truly conspire to make things happen for you. I just want to give you some crazy examples of synchronicities and things just falling into place without me even having to think about it. So the first thing that came together for me was my colleague Mitesh volunteering his lovely wife Sonal, who's a graphic designer, to design the cover of my book. And in this process, I had actually been out taking pictures of the flowers in Notting Hill. This was years back while I was still writing the book, and actually took a picture of these cherry blossoms. And when she was designing my cover, I sent her a brief of everything that I wanted, and I kind of put together a very random brief of, you know, I sent her this photo and then I sent a feather and I sent a color palette. And at the time I was thinking, there's no way that she's going to, you know, be able to bring all these together. They're all so disconnected and random. And then she came back with this. And so I was so happy with it because it really captures the spirit of the book, and it kind of is special in a way because it incorporates my love for photography as well, and something that I did creatively. The second synchronicity, or you know, event that just came together without any effort was when I was out just having a drink with friends. I met the sister of a friend who encouraged me to get an editor. That prompted me to send her my book to get her take on my writing, and she actually was generous enough to edit some of the book and give it back to me. And I actually loved what she did with the editing. She was very meticulous and pointed out things that didn't make sense, and in the end really sharpened up my message and made it flow much better. And so this was another thing that I wasn't going out looking for an editor. I wasn't actually even going to have one, and it was there exactly when I needed it. The other crazy synchronicity was that everything happened in my favorite neighborhood of London. The writing of the book, the taking the picture for the cover, the book launch, the first bookshop that sold my book was the Notting Hill bookshop, and somehow it all kind of came full circle. The other bit to this story is that I was at Gail's Cafe writing, and a street photographer took photos of me through the window and came in and said, "Is it okay if I post your picture on my page?" This picture that he had taken was actually the perfect photo for me to use as a poster. I also put the photo in the actual book. And it's just really cool because it's got like, it's got me writing on Portobello Road reflected in the window, and it just is really symbolic of that time in my life as well. These are just some of the synchronicities that came together during this whole process. I could literally talk days and days about how fluidly and smoothly this came about. And of course, that is the message of the book itself, which is that once you decide what you want, the universe will be behind you and things will come together in a way that don't have to be forced or pushed or manipulated, and that when it is the right thing for you, things are easy, they flow, there's a certain joy and peace at the basis of all of your actions. The whole journey of writing this book has introduced me to so many new people. It's developed my skills, it's developed my confidence in being able to start and finish something of my own and actually have it be a success. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you want more information about the self-publishing process, please do let me know. I hope to see you in the next video. Ciao for now.